What do Captain Cold, Wabi-Sabi, and Blade Runner 2049 have to do with essentialism? Well, let's find out in today's
Essentialism Challenge.
idea number 1. Captain Cold. One of my favorite characters in The Flash and the Legends of Tomorrow TV shows is the character of Captain Cold, aka Leonard Snart. Let's hear what he has to say about making plans.
Make the plan, execute the plan, expect the plan to go off the rails, throw away the plan.
Wait, what? Okay, so what does this have to do with essentialism? Well, one of the tenets of essentialism is to be very deliberate about what you do. You know, plan out your day, plan out the activities that you need to do in your day, schedule a week in advance perhaps. Just basically be very thoughtful, very intentful, very deliberate about everything you're doing. So to be an essentialist is to plan, to plan, to plan. But as Captain Cold reminds us, sometimes plans go off the rails, and you have to be willing to throw away the plan and try something else. You know, go with the flow, roll with the punches, and that's okay too. So in essence, you can actually plan ahead to not be able to do your plan, which I know sounds counterintuitive, but as we see time and time again, Captain Cold comes in to save the day and be the anti-hero we love. So, in summary, make the plan, execute the plan, expect the plan to go off the rails, and then throw away the plan. Idea number 2. Wabi-Sabi. Wabi-Sabi is a Japanese term that doesn't really have an exact translation in English, but it is basically an aesthetic that has developed over hundreds of years in Japan, and it's based around the idea that things are inherently imperfect and transient, and instead of trying to pursue this ideal of long-lasting perfection, instead embrace this sort of imperfect, transient nature of things. And so wabi-sabi artistic items tend to be a little bit on the rustic side. They have lots of different textures and feels to them, and things that some people might call mistakes. And that's not bad. In fact, some artists will actually intentionally add a mistake to their work in order to infuse it with that wabi-sabi feel. And there's also philosophical aspects to this, which is why I bring it up. Because something I've been doing for a while now, and it's really helped me, is if I'm going throughout my day and everything seems perfect, everything seems amazing, the sky is blue, the grass is green, the sun is shining, and then something bad happens, instead of getting all upset about it, it was so beautiful, and then my tooth started to hurt, and now it's all ruined. Instead of having a freak out, I instead just say, wabi-sabi. You know, good things are happening, something's happening that's not so good. It's just part of life. This is the nature of things. And so I say wabi-sabi as a philosophical idea. It's also a great artistic idea. You can actually expect and even add imperfections to your art, and it infuses it with a certain character, and that's the idea of wabi-sabi. When life gets messy, learn to appreciate the mistakes. Idea number 3, Blade Runner 2049. I love this movie. It is just absolutely an incredible cinematic experience from start to finish. One of the more notable scenes is when K, Officer K, who's the star of the show, and he's a replicant, he's at home with his artificial companion, and she doesn't even have a physical body. She's just a hologram. But he gets this new present for her where she can basically be projected as a hologram wherever he goes. So he takes her outside in the rain on the balcony overlooking this grand cyberpunk cityscape. And her hologram is getting rained on, which, as you know, is impossible. And so there's all this weird glitching going on, and her light rays are kind of coming in and out of looking right, and she's simulating little raindrops collecting on her hands because, you know, she's just a hologram. And it's all very surreal and odd. And it's interesting because she's billed as this perfect companion, you know, looks flawless, absolutely gorgeous, will cater to your every whim. Everything is wonderful and amazing, and you just have this companion with you. But once she's a hologram out in the rain, everything gets weird and glitchy and strange and doesn't really doesn't really line up. It's not a perfect experience, but this is the moment where Kay really looks at her with love in his eyes. I mean, you can just see his admiration of her, his fondness for her, his delight at her quirky little ways where she's like, look at the drops on my hands. And so even in this moment of imperfection and even vulnerability, she is beautiful. She is someone that Kay comes to love. So to become vulnerable is to become beautiful. Embrace your imperfections. So to recap, the first idea comes from Captain Cold. Make the plan, execute the plan, expect the plan to go off the rails, throw away the plan. The second idea comes from Wabi-Sabi. When life gets messy, and it always does sooner or later, learn to appreciate the mistakes. And lastly, from Blade Runner 2049, we learn that to become vulnerable is to become beautiful. Embrace your own imperfections. So that's how this all comes together in this grand idea. But I could be completely wrong, because as Captain Cold from Earth X tells us,
well, as a snart we know used to say, make a plan, execute the plan, expect the plan to go off the rails, throw away the plan.
Wow, that is terrible advice. I always have a plan, down to the second, so nothing ever goes wrong.
maybe he's right, maybe I'm right, who knows? But anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please click like, and if you want more of this kind of material, or you want to explore travel videos that I've made in and around the Portland area, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. That's it for today. Tune in next time. Bye. What do Captain Cold, Wabi-Sabi, and Blade Runner 2049 have to do with essentialism? Well, let's find out in today's video.